Okay, welcome to the webinar of Dynamics 365 Retail. Today's session, what are the components and what are the content we are going to use? Going to go it's like architecture of 365 Retail. In architecture, we will see different topologies with Dynamics 365 Retail. Also, we will see the components detail. What are the components are involved in architecture? So there are few concepts which are new to the other people. Maybe with someone from the retail background, he will be able to understand that how we don't have a background of retail, dynamics retail. So these are the concepts we will use. After that, we will see the extension model. What are the different extension models and components? How components are connecting to each other? What are the customization technologies involved? And the extension overview. So in extension overview, we will see different type of extensions. Um, we can extend retail. There may be retail server or commerce runtime, POS extension. Just a overview we will see, and we will see the most important, you know, part of the retail development is the retail LDK. Okay. Let's start with the architecture of Dynamics 365 Retail. So, as you know, retail is the now Dynamics 365 Retail is a cloud base. So there will be HQ. HQ is the headquarter. Headquarter will have retail headquarter components as well as AOS. AOS is nothing but a finance and operation. Okay. So this finance and operation is the I'm just going to mute all. Can
Can
you
you
please?
just mute all?
Yeah. I'm, okay. So yeah. So this HQ will be having the retail component, so or retail module as retail or commerce. So just to update everyone, this retail is Microsoft just rename it, and there are some additional stuff they have added into the retail section and rename as a commerce. Okay, so whatever I am saying now, retail is commerce. Okay, Dynamics 365 Commerce. So, in the component or in the architecture, there are different components or layers of any components. So, one is HQ. In HQ, there will be application service, that is MS. There will be retail server. So, all these components will be in cloud. So, we are just looking at the cloud-based architecture currently. We are not discussing about the on-premises. So, on-premises will be almost similar. I will explain the differences on that. Now, uh, HQ will be having a retail server, AOS, and cloud POS server, as well as the call center model. So these are nothing but a part of a cloud. There will be some Azure environment which will be hosting the AOS and the retail HQ, along with the retail server as well as the CPOS server and cloud call center model. So call center is a module, but rest of the things are the servers. Okay? So there will be a database. Database is nothing but it's same as the finance and operation database. If someone is having a background of finance and operation, so it will be having the same as the finance and operation database. All the retail component or the retail table are initially part of the finance and operation database. Okay, so a single database for retail as well as finance and operation will be into Azure. Now, what are the other components which will be interacting with this HQ or HQ in Azure? There will be e-commerce application, there will be client like the cloud point of sale or hardware station or modern point of sale. Those will be connecting to the retail server. So how it will be connecting to retail server? There will be some web services exposed on the retail server, and those client will be accessing the web services from the retail server. Uh, Now there might be e-commerce application which are hosted somewhere, maybe in cloud or maybe on premises some on the server. Those are also connecting to the retail server for the backend operations. Along with this e-commerce application, store client like cloud point of sale, hardware station, and modern point of sale. Those are again connected to the retail server. So everything will be connecting to the retail server. Apart from cloud point of sale client, the cloud point of sale client will be connected to the cloud point of sale server. We will see this terminology: what is cloud point of sale, what is retail server, and what is hardware. So this CPOS or cloud point of sale will be connected to the cloud point of sale server. into HQ, and this cloud point of sale server will be interacting to the retail server again. Now, in this topology, we can say everything is in the cloud. Okay, either retail server, CPOS server, or call center and HQ, everything is in the cloud. There is another topology. So Microsoft allows you to install some of the retail component on premises, or even those they allow to install in the cloud, but on the different server. Okay, so for example, in the current topology, everything is on the one server or in one box, that is into cloud. But if you take a retail server, CPOS server outside from this component, okay, if you take this retail server and CPOS server outside from this component and install those on a separate server, either those are into cloud or on premise, you can install. So that is called as retail store scale unit. So their name is just recently changed, that is Commerce Scale Unit. So how this Commerce Scale Unit will act? This Commerce Scale Unit will be having component uh, like retail server, channel database. So channel database, I said it was, anyone has mentioned? Okay. So channel database, I said it was a part of HQ database itself, that is finance and operation database. But we can take it away from the finance and operation database and install it as a part of a retail store scale unit or commerce scale unit. So in commerce scale unit, there will be retail server, channel database, cloud point of sale server, that is optional. If you want to go on the cloud point of sale, you can install that server, and CDX async client. So the CDX async client is important to move the data from the HQ tables to the channel table. Okay. So this is the one architecture. Now the scale unit can be part of an on-premise server somewhere in the store itself. Okay, and it can be part of a cloud, but apart from the AOS or HQ headquarter. Okay, so these are the different architecture topology. One will be having everything in the cloud in a single box. Everything in the sense retail HQ, AOS, retail server, cloud point of sale, everything will be in the cloud in a single box. Second, we can take retail server and cloud point of sale server as in a channel database away from the HQ environment, and we can host it into somewhere into cloud or on premise. So if you host that into cloud, that will form as a commerce scale unit. Also, if you host that on the somewhere on the server, that is also a commerce scale unit. So this server and the on premise installation are given some different name. One is the cloud scale unit and other is the RSSU, that is retail store scale unit. Okay, we'll see all this topology now. Any question in architecture? I assume no question. We have,
Yeah, hi. I have one question over here.
yeah.
As you mentioned that, let's say if we already configure our Windows, this Microsoft Azure, and now we have a retail store as well. You said that we can connect through web service or web API, something like this. Okay,
Yes.
so is there any out of box configuration is there where we can connect to this Microsoft Azure with the retail store or with the e-commerce website?
Okay, you mean
Is there any online like out of box or the connector is already available, or do we need to write a code for this to connect to this two environment?
no, first of all, it's inbuilt functionality. So retail server,
Okay.
um, a cloud point of sale server or the POS clients is internally
Hmm.
connected to the retail server just with the help of URL. Okay, that is
Okay.
inbuilt functionality. We don't need to build. But in case
Hmm.
you want to access this retail server from outside, for example, if
Hmm.
you have some third-party e-commerce application and you want to access
Hmm.
retail server, or you have to have the backend as the finance and operation, so you can call the
Hmm.
web services. Now these web
Okay.
services are a part of a standard web services or beta web service, so you can access
Hmm.
it from anywhere with the help of just authentication mechanism. So authentication mechanism is the uh, Azure makes Active Directory authentication. So if you authenticate it into your client, you can easily access this outside the world. You don't require a POS applications.
Okay, so to connect to the external application or from the or for the external user, then only we required this web API or web service. Otherwise, we don't require for internal user or for internal employee. We don't require this.
We require this, but it will be internally connected automatically. We don't need to worry
Okay,
about that. We don't need to do
okay,
specifically something.
fine, fine. Okay,
So let's see all those components. Maybe in previous slides you have seen many new names, but I'll explain each and everything now. Headquarter, there are three layers. Okay, first is the headquarter, second is the scaling unit. So scaling unit in the sense retail server components. Okay, and third is the clients. So these are the we can say as a three-tier architecture. In headquarter there will be AXDB. So if you know finance and operation, there will be some database that is called as AXDB. It may be in Azure. If you have cloud-based finance and operation, there is a new option that is on-premise as well. If you have on-premise finance and operation, you can have all this headquarter on your server, but that will be a little bit more complex installation and all in terms of customization as well. Along with AXDB, there will be AOS server. AOS is the application object server. So that is the server for finance and operation, where all the component of finance and operation will run. There will be third component, that is CDX server. CDX in the sense Commerce Data Exchange. The Commerce Data Exchange server is responsible for moving the data from AX database to the retail channel database. If you see here in the second, it will be responsible for moving the data from AXDB to the retail channel database. Okay. I'm sorry guys. I don't know how to do it. Okay. Uh, so this CDX server will be responsible for moving the data from the channel database to the HQ and HQ database to the channel database. But it will move the data, or it will synchronize the data through async client. Okay. Async client and async server. Async client will be on the scaling unit and async server is on the cloud. Those will interact together to move this data. Okay. There will be third component, a last component, that is real-time service. So on the POS or any of the client, if you want something from directly from headquarter, okay, now you should understood how POS will work. We'll explain that. But in case you want to have something directly from the headquarter, you can use the real-time services. So real-time service is nothing but again a web API or web service which you are directly accessing from the scaling unit. Okay. Give me a second, I will just try to clear this. Okay. So this real-time service will be responsible for direct communication between the client and the headquarter. Now let's understand the second layer. Second layer is about the scaling unit. So scaling unit will be either it will be into cloud or it will be in the on-premise, on store. Now let's consider one real-time scenario. You have a store, maybe in India we have mostly Reliance. Let's consider an example of Reliance. So Reliance is having headquarter in Delhi. They will be having some stores. They will be having some store in Mumbai or some store in Bangalore. So headquarter in the sense AOS will be deployed in the either in Delhi or in cloud. Okay. So channel or the scaling unit will be deployed either in cloud again, or maybe one channel or one scaling unit will be deployed in Mumbai or Delhi and other one will be deployed in Bangalore. So if those are deployed on premises, that is called as retail store scaling unit. Okay, because that is all the component will be in the store itself. If those are deployed in the cloud, those are called as retail cloud scaling unit. Now this name are little bit changed recently in last 1 month. That is called as the commerce cloud scale unit or commerce store scale unit. Okay. Now what are the component will be part of this scaling unit? One will be retail server, another will be channel database, commerce runtime, hardware station, and the async client. So retail server will be responsible for communicating to or exposing the web API to outside the world. I assume all of you are the technical, and that's why I'm going into technical language. If anyone is not from the technical background, please let me know. I can explain those in detail. So, retail server is a web API which will be accessed through all of the clients. All of the clients in the sense MPOS, EPOS, e-commerce client, hybrid app, or any of the third-party application. Like I think Sandeep said, right? How can access the API from outside? Any of the third-party application, you can access retail server API. In that, retail server doesn't have any business logic. Okay, so business logic will be part of the commerce runtime. So retail server internally will call to the commerce runtime. How it will call to the commerce runtime? Let's take an example like get customer. So on POS, someone requested customer or search customer. So the POS will call to the retail server customer API, get customer API. This retail server will call in turn into the commerce runtime. A commerce runtime is nothing but a set of business logic or business logic with a set of submodules or DLLs. So this commerce runtime business logic will call channel database, get the customer data, return it to the commerce runtime, and commerce runtime will return from the retail server to client. So this way communication will happen internally. Understood? So channel database will be accessed by commerce runtime itself and not the retail server. Retail server doesn't have any business logic. It is just a set of API that will be exposed to the outside the world, and commerce runtime will have the business logic, which will be communicating with the database, or in commerce runtime, we can call this real-time service as well to get the data from the headquarter. Now, if I am accessing a channel database, that means it will be having the data or getting the data, whatever data is synced in the channel database from HQ. But in case I want a real-time data or the data right at a moment, I will call the real-time service. Understood the difference when we require the real-time service? So if I need a customer data, I will definitely get it from the channel database. But if I need a real-time inventory, what is inventory at this moment, then I will get it from the real-time service, because inventory should be accurate and it should not create some mess up while selling or purchasing the item. Now let's move on to the hardware station. So from POS, if you know, we can you may have visit the DMart or any of the POS terminal, right? Maybe Reliance Electronics or some of the POS terminal. So if you have seen, there will be some scanner, or the salesperson will be scanning something. Okay, scanning the barcode from the product, and the product will be automatically enter into POS. Each POS. Okay, so this scanner is nothing but a hardware. Getting this scanner is nothing but a hardware. So how this scanner will be communicating with the POS applications, and that will be through hardware stations. So hardware station is nothing but a again application which will bind all the hardware component. So it may be scanner, it may be cash dispenser, it may be barcode reader, some different type of. It may be number pad where we user enter actually the pin number. It may be um, payment terminals like this, payment POS app machines. All this will be connected in the hardware station, connected to the POS through hardware station. Okay, so hardware station is nothing but an application which will be communicating with all the hardware and giving access to the POS for that, for all those hardwares. Okay. A sync client, as I said previously, it will be responsible for connecting to the HQ and syncing the data from HQ database to the channel database. So channel database and HQ database are always in sync with some frequency through async client and async server. Getting this async client, async server will communicate together and get the data from AX database to the channel, as well as push the channel database data to the AX client or AX database. So that depend on what type of data is getting synced. Maybe transaction will push from the channel database to the HQ, or master data will be pushed from the HQ to the channel database. Getting, so this is about the second layer, that is retail store scaling unit or cloud scaling unit. Now third is the simple, that is clients. So modern point of sale is the client. Modern point of sale. is actually a app, Windows Metro app, or we can say it's as a Windows 8 app kind of YAML app. So this app will be connecting to the retail server for data communication. It doesn't have again API to directly communicate to the channel database. So this app is just a client app. It will communicate to the retail server and get the data from retail server through commerce runtime and a channel database and show it on the import. So this is just a client side mechanism. Similarly, CPOS. CPOS is again a point of sale. Now there are two point of sale, that is MPOS and CPOS. So what is the difference in between two? MPOS is the app or application. Uh, if you are using Windows 10 system, just type in your Windows 10, that is mail. Okay, so mail is one of the application, and again there will be same application for same purpose, that is Outlook, right? So Outlook is a simple Windows application, but mail is a you can say as a modern point of sale, or not a modern, sorry, Windows 8 or Windows 10 app. Okay, so this mail is equivalent to the modern point of sale. This is the app which is installed in the system. But if you are browsing point of sale on just a browser, okay, it's not installed. You can browse point of sale, and this is newly added into Dynamics 365. It was not a part of X22. So if you browse this point of sale into just a browser, that we call as the cloud point of sale. Why we can browse it directly in the browser? Because there is a server which is hosted somewhere in the scaling unit. I think I haven't mentioned that cloud point of sale server here, but there will be server which will be hosted in the class scaling unit, and that server is nothing but a web application or a website, okay, which is hosted in retail scaling unit, and you can access that through browser. So we don't need to install that particular into our Windows system. We don't need to install it in the Windows system. We can access the POS into browser itself. So that is the difference between MPOS and CPOS. So MPOS will be installed in the Windows, and CPOS will be just accessed through the browser. Okay. Now there will be e-commerce client. That is optional if you want to use it, or any third party e-commerce if you want to connect. You can connect to the retail server, or Microsoft recently launched some e-commerce platform which will be the platform based in the Azure. So you can connect that e-commerce to the retail server, any of the retail server. Last one is the hybrid application. Any question? Any question? Okay. Last one is the hybrid application. So hybrid application is what exactly? So MPOS you can install in the Windows system, right? CPOS you can browse through the web application or the browser. But hybrid application is such that it's designed just for, specially for the purpose of non-Windows operating system, that may be Android or iOS. So if you see any point of sale on iOS platform, maybe iPad or iPhone or somewhere, so that will be hybrid app. How it will be hybrid app? It will be just a shell, okay, just a shell. The POS will be hosted in just a shell, uh, and the shell is formed with the that particular platform, but it will be having a CPOS internally, like a browser-based CPOS you can access in the browser. Similarly, a app will be deployed on other non-Windows platform which will access CPOS internally. That means it's an app, but it will be accessing a CPOS or cloud point of sale. So that's why it's called as a hybrid app, and that will explore the feasibility, like that will give the feasibility for user to access point of sale or non-Windows application. Okay, non-Windows platform. Any question in this components, written components? Okay, let me go ahead. If you have any question, you can ask by the end of the session as well. Okay, so quickly we will see how this application will be interacting. Just a illustration. Okay. Now remember what are the components we have discussed. Okay. There will be one HQ. There will be some retail one server or the scaling unit, and there will be some clients. Okay. Now I hope you understood this concept HQ and the scaling unit. I will mark it as RSSC or RCSC. So retail cloud scale unit or retail store scale unit. Okay. So HQ will be having a component that is AXDB, AOS server, and with respect to retail, I will just write it dot real time service. Okay. As well as so these are two components are with respect to retail, and these are the two components are with respect to FinOps. Okay. That's why I have just marked it into differentiation. Okay. Now in the retail store scale unit or scaling unit, what will be the component? There will be retail server. Okay, there will be channel database. I will just mark this quickly in different way. Retail server, there will be channel database, and there will be CRT. So CRT is a commerce runtime, right? Here it will be a single client. So okay, let's think about the clients. What will be the clients? MPOS, CPOS, or e-commerce, right? So these may be a client or maybe hybrid app. Okay. So let's see how communication will happen with some illustration. Okay. Now AXDB and AOS, what it will be holding. So let's take a real time scenario. Now on point of sale, I want a live inventory. Okay, I want the inventory for a item. So what I will do, I'm let's consider I'm doing a completely new customization which is not existing current flow. Okay. Now what I will do, I will just call some retail API. Okay, I will call some retail API from point of sale, and being technical, I will pass item ID because I need inventory of that particular item. I will pass a item ID to retail server. Now this retail server, what it will do, this retail server API are the uh, API which are accessible to the outside the world. Now what this retail server will do, this will call to the channel database, correct? Oh, sorry, CRT. Now the CRT will call internally to the channel database. So retail server, I have to create one API which will be accessed through the client, which will be accepting item ID as a parameter. Okay. Now this retail server will be calling to the CRT. That means I have to create one API in CRT which will be accessing as a item ID as a parameter. Okay. Now in this CRT, if I want data from channel database, I will be directly calling it into CRT engine itself or the commerce runtime engine itself. I am getting the data from channel database. But in this my scenario, I want to get a real-time inventory. Okay, I want to get a real-time inventory from HQ. Okay, I want to get a real-time inventory from HQ. That's why I will create some RTS call. Okay, real-time service call, and I will pass the same parameter to this real-time service. Okay, I am calling a real-time service to get this real-time inventory. Okay, from this real-time service I am getting it. Now let's understood I am getting a real-time inventory for this particular item in the form of quantity. Now actually in real-time service what it is, component will be real-time service will be having just a one method which is deployed in X++ or which is created in X++, which will be accepting a parameter and returning some parameter. But this method is a part of X++, okay, that is finance and operation. Now it is returning a quantity to CRT, okay. This is returning a quantity to CRT, and CRT engine will return this quantity back to the retail server. Getting? Once it is returned to the retail server, it will be passing to point of sale in the form of quantity again, and this quantity will be shown on point of sale. Okay, so item ABC. So item ABC will be having actual inventory as maybe let's say 50. Okay, so to get that 50 as an inventory and show it on the point of sale, we have to do the customization in retail server. Of course, in POS, we have to call the retail server API. In retail server, we have to call CRT. From CRT, we have to call a real-time service, and all this response we have to manipulate and pass it to the modern point of sale to end to end, and then we will be able to show real-time quantity. Now, in case I don't want some real-time data, I want something from the channel database. So this particular part will be skipped. Okay, this particular part will be skipped, and it will be just calling to the channel database in CRT. Understood? Overall customization flow. Any question, guys? Any question here? Any flow you are not able to understand, not able to do it? Okay, so let's see about the technologies involved in this customization. So CPOS or MPOS will be having main technology or the language as a TypeScript. So TypeScript is nothing but just an advanced version of JavaScript, okay, for asynchronous calls. This will be having a syntax much similar as the JavaScript, but little advanced with some advanced API. Now for UI designing, it will be HTML. So in case you want to create a new UI in POS, maybe for complete end-to-end functionality, you may need require to create a new user interface. Okay. So it will be HTML, and there will be binding, that is knockout.js. Okay, KO is the knockout. So knockout.js is a binding to bind this HTML element to the TypeScript. Okay, so these are the three technologies will be part of um, designing a client or customization, doing the customization in the client. Now let's talk about RSSU or RCSU or scale unit. So there will be two API, that is retail server and CRT. Both are a part of C sharp. Okay, both we can design into C sharp. And to access the data from channel database, we have to use the SQL queries. So SQL queries in the sense we have to use the store procedure, we have to create a store procedures, we have to create functions, tables, we have to create all the script manually. Okay, so it's not like FinOps or finance and operation that you can create a tables or query inside the application server. We have to create all the queries manually, that is store procedure, functions or type table. Not in detail, we require only 3-4 concepts for retail customization. Now let's talk about HQ. If someone is from finance and operation background, only the X++ will be required. Okay. So these are the technologies we have to be aware with to do the retail customization. Any question about technology? Okay. Let's move ahead. So we have seen this technologies, customization technologies. X++, retail server is a C sharp. This OData service and entity model is again part of C sharp, but it's just a concept, okay, for exposing the retail server API to outside the world. It's just a concept which will be require. CRT will require C sharp. Okay. POS, I said, TypeScript, HTML, JavaScript. Actually, JavaScript is not much used, but as it's a TypeScript is an advanced version of JavaScript, so we have mentioned we can use the JavaScript directly in TypeScript code, but it is not recommended. And Knockout.js. So these are the technologies we'll be using for customization. Now let's talk about the retail extensibility. Okay, quickly. So you have seen the workflow and where you do customization. So to add more on the theoretical side, what are those customization are involved with? Commerce runtime. The commerce runtime is a business application engine or business layer for database operation or real-time service operation, which required for the purpose of this commerce runtime is to add, modify business logic or extend the data layer. Okay. Now, once you do some customization in a commerce runtime, it will be applicable for all the terminal, all the channel, or all the stores. Okay, wherever it is configured. So this commerce runtime will interact with the retail server always. You cannot access commerce runtime engine outside the word directly without retail server or outside uh, server without using the retail server. You have to go through the retail server itself. Okay. Retail server, the purpose is extending OData API between POS or online store and commerce center. So either it will be POS or online store. Online store is nothing but a e-commerce. So the purpose of retail server is to be bridge between the clients and commerce runtime business layer. So it will be actually important to expose the API to the client. Okay. POS, as I said, it extend if you want to add any new feature or in existing feature, if you want to add some trigger, some handler, some functionality you want to modify, that for that purpose we will be using the point of sale or we will be customizing the point of sale, that is POS. Channel database is again a channel database like store database we can see, and we can customize it by creating a new table. Okay, we can customize it by adding a new uh, fields to the existing table. We can add store procedure functions like this. We can do the customization. But in case if you add a new tables, okay, and you want to move some HQ data, headquarter data to the new table, what we will do? We have to customize the distribution schedule as well. So distribution schedule is again a new concept. Like whatever the data will be synced from HQ to the client or HQ to the channel database or channel database to back to HQ, that will happen through the distribution schedule customization or through distribution schedule. So this CDS server and CDS client will act uh, as per the configuration in distribution schedule. So distribution schedule there will be mapping for one-to-one mapping to the table. So HQ table customer will be mapped to the channel database table as a customer first table, and CDX will then take care to move the data from HQ to the client. But in case you want to add some new table in HQ, or if you added a new table in HQ and you want those data to be synced with the channel database, what we will do, we will create that same table in channel database and we will modify the distribution schedule to move this data from HQ to the channel database. So these are the areas where we actually do the customization. One is missing here the real-time service that I will already explained. So these are the areas which are required for the customization in retail. So any questions so far? Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and see the most important topic, that is retail SDK. So all this customization we'll be doing with the help of retail SDK. So retail SDK is I will just quickly show you how the retail SDK is look like. Okay. So if you go to the any of the environment, dev environment, you will see the retail SDK like this here. Okay. So in this retail SDK, these are all the components or these are all the directories which we will use for customization. So we will go, instead of going through the PPT, we will go one by one in the directory itself. Okay. So this retail SDK, all the components are required for customization in different layers. So let's go one by one. First is the asset. Now you will see the retail SDK in your dev environment. If you have any dev environment of Dynamics 365, you will see that uh, either on the K drive directly in retail SDK, or if you have some on-premise environment, you will see under C drive. Okay. C drive retail SDK. So the purpose of this retail SDK is to help or to build the customization uh, into retail side, as well as you can create a deployable package from this retail SDK itself. You will not able to deploy directly or create a deployable package directly from Visual Studio. You have to deploy or create a deployable package from retail SDK itself. Okay, we'll see one by one all the components. First is the asset. So asset is the configuration settings which we are going to deploy on the client environment, maybe test environment or UAT or production. So these are the configuration settings, like what are the new customization we have added. We have to configure those customization into some of the configuration file. Let's say commerce runtime ext. So if you have some customization in CRT, that is commerce runtime, you have to add an entry in commerce runtime. If you have some customization with respect to hardware station, you have to add an entry in hardware station, like this. Okay, so that's the purpose of retail SDK asset. Usually we modified only this with commerce runtime ext, commerce runtime offline ext, and hardware station extension. These are the three files only. Build tool, next is the build tool. So there will be important file as the customization.config, where we actually uh, enter all of our customization, database script, channel database extension, as well as our retail deployable package version, a certificate, that is, uh, we required a certificate to install model point of sale, the code signing certificate. That certificate detail we have to add into customization file. Okay, all the details of your customization will go into customization.setting file. So in this folder we update only this one. In database, if you go to the upgrade custom, you will see all the script here. So whatever the new script you will add, that means whatever the channel database customization you create, you have to create a SQL script and you have to add that into database custom folder. Okay, again adding that script will not only work, you have to add the entry of that particular script file into customization.config file itself. Okay, let me show you quickly. So this is the customization.config. So here are some nodes, that is ISV commerce runtime customizable file. You have to add an entry here for your CRTDLN. If you have customization in retail server, you will add it here. If you have customization with respect to some proxies, retail server proxies, you will add it here. Hardware station you will add, and all the channel database script you will add here. If you have multiple files, you will just replicate these nodes like this, and you will add your multiple files here. Like I have two customization files on channel database script. I will add these two entries here. Also, I have to move these two files database into database here, upgrade and the custom folder. Okay, so this is for the deployment. Now in the document section, you will see all the help required for customizations. So here are some sample application instructions Microsoft have already given. So there are these are the number of samples application you can use, and you can use for your customization or help for the custom get a help of customization. So all the step by step instruction they have given. If anyone wants to start, you can go here and start from this readme file. This is for the online store, but it's already replaced by a new online store concept or the e-commerce store. So this will be not in use. Packages. So once we build this retail deployable package or retail LTK, it will create a retail deployable package in this folder. packages, retail deployable package. Here you will get one zip file, and that will be actually we will be uploading to the LCS or will be deploying that on the on premises. This payment external and payments are with respect to the payment terminal customization or payment connector you can create with the help of these two files or two folders. There will be some API in these two folders for creating a payment terminal. POS is for the purpose of customization in the POS application. POS application in the sense modern point of sale or cloud point of sale. Now here is the very good concept like if you do the customization for modern point of sale, it will work as it is for cloud point of sale because the model they have designed is like they have created one extension file here, one extension project, and this extension project will be common for cloud point of sale solution as well as a modern point of sale solution. So once you do some customization for modern point of sale and build the retail SDK, it will apply for the cloud point of sale as well. You don't need to do multiple customization for these two different type of POS. Now references. So these are the references which we actually use for doing a customization. So if you suppose if you are doing some channel database channel or CRT customization, that is CRT customization project or DLL, you will be using all these references for your purpose, or you have to add these references as the reference it into C sharp project, and then you will be able to do the customization. Otherwise you will not get the API or libraries from the retail SDK. So this is very important. In next version, this manual DLL will be part of NuGet package in some future versions, and you can add it directly using a NuGet package. You don't need to go and manually refer this one by one. Here are some sample extensions. As I said in the documentation, they have given some help for sample extension. So here are the help file, and actually the projects are here. You can take help from this sample extension how to customize which area. Suppose you have to do the customize CRT, you can go here and get help from commerce runtime sample extensions. Okay. There is a last file that is Microsoft version. So this version will help you to understand the retail SDK version. So there is some specific version in schema Microsoft follow for retail SDK, and this version will help you to understand what is the retail SDK. Suppose you have upgraded your environment from 10.09 to 10.10. So this API or version will get changed to something new version. From there, you can identify what is the version of this retail SDK or what is the version of the application along with this retail SDK. Getting? So this is about retail SDK. Any question? I think that's it for today. I have done from my side. Do you have any question for you? For me? Feel free to ask.
Hello.
Yep.
It's not select questions, but I think it's a note from my experience that I work in Dynamics 365 and AX 2009 and 2012. I think the point of sales in Dynamics 365 for finance and operation is more comfortable and more easy and interface friendly users more than AX 2012 or 2009. Also, the configuration and the setups for retail server or connection details or the channel databases, all of these details. I think the Dynamics 365 for finance and operations is more familiar than other version. I don't know if this is correct for all users, uh, but this is from my experience. I show this thing.
Okay. So you're trying to say the customization or configuration in Dynamics 365 are little bit easy than AX2012. Is that you want to say?
Mm, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yes, that is.
that's what I found it.
Yes, that is
Um,
correct. But there is some twist. I will just explain. In AX2012, you don't have or all the retail SDK code is available to you, and you can
yes,
add your
yes,
code line anywhere. But in Dynamics
yes,
365, a code base is completely sealed. So you have to just work on extensions whatever given by Microsoft, and that will make
yes,
it little bit tricky.
yes.
Yeah, that's only the difference.
And yes, and many thanks for you about this meetings. I have a lot of things that I didn't know before.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for it.
Welcome.
So this is just overview. I have to do little bit fast. Meeting चालू आहे.
Hey, thanks for this session. It was very nice actually. Actually, I'm working in D365 finance and operation,
Okay.
and retail. I have don't have idea. So, do I need to know C sharp and or whatever you mentioned, right? So, do I need to know Knockout JS, C sharp, and everything in
Uh,
order to learn retail, or that is an extra addition actually?
you want to if you want to do the customization, C sharp is mandatory. TypeScript you can
Mandatory.
learn step by step. Knockout.js is a very small part. Means just 1% you can say we are using
Ah,
1%
okay,
of Knockout.js and
okay,
1% of HTML. But C sharp we
okay.
are using almost 90%, and TypeScript we are using in case we have to do some customization on US side. So C sharp is mandatory. TypeScript you can learn step by step as per the requirement.
Perfect. Okay, okay,
C
fine.
sharp is as
Thank you.
much similar as the X++. So if you know the X++, you can easily learn C sharp.
No, C sharp I know, no problem. So, but it was very old, so I was doing in 4 version or something like that, 3 version or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I have to
That's fine.
recheck.
That's
No
fine.
problem.
We are not using so advanced concept, and just advanced concept we are using like OData. Maybe if you are X++ developer, you might be aware with the OData concept. We are using the OData and
Yeah, yeah.
MVC framework. That's only the advanced concept. Rest of the thing are C sharp, just a simple thing.
Okay, okay. One question I had in your session. So you were saying about a real-time service and channel database, right?
Yes.
Okay. You said customer we can get it from a channel database, and a real-time service like item we have to go for that one. So that automatically decides, or we have to do it in C sharp for getting those kind of things done.
Yeah, it depend on our scenario. We have to do in C sharp. Okay, first thing. It depend on
Mhm.
our scenario. If our customer is saying, no, I want inventory directly from real time, because inventory is a very important factor, right? If you sell one item
Yeah, yeah.
on one terminal and the same item is again got sold on another terminal, it will create a mess. So for that purpose, most of the customer ask, I want inventory from the real time. But
Perfect.
uh,
Okay.
but for customer masters, product, and all these details, we can get it from channel database.
Sure. So as part of this training, so you'll be okay telling us okay how to start it from scratch, right? Because I have D365 enrolled with me, how to set up the headquarters and how to do simple customization on MPOS, CPOS. All those
Exactly.
things will be
So
part of this training, right?
yes, everything will be covered for starting from the basic, like how to configure your development environment. So we will be starting from how to
Mhm.
configure development environment for retail development. What are the tools or what are the
Perfect.
things we should do? What are the best practices? And we are starting from simple customization in CRT to the complex customization end-to-end flow. We will be taking end-to-end flow for CEO or some business logic.
Perfect. Thank you. So that answers my question. And thanks for this really nice session.
Yeah. Any more questions? I'm just stopping the recording.